Hello there everyone, and welcome back to Napoleon Total War with the Eras mod. Today we are answering two questions before we go ahead and start actually talking strategy and battle plans. And those two questions are: would there be a possibility for non-members to get named units? And is the campaign a little bit too easy? We're gonna start with the membership one. So of course, if I allowed everyone who asked to get a named unit, that would be quite a lot, because on average an episode gets at least 1,000 views, more close to 1,500 I would say, although it slows down the longer the campaigns go. But I mean, we could see probably 100 people asking for different units, and also it would take away from the benefit of the guys that are paying. However, I don't want to leave the guys that don't have possibility of paying to get a unit. However, of course, I cannot allow everyone. So what I'm going to do, and I actually thought of this as a pretty good idea, to boost the first episode of every series. In this case, we're going to do it for this, the 10th episode. But I want everyone who's not a member, right, to post down below in the comments what unit you want and if you want a special name for it. Then I'll put all of you non-members that ask for a unit, I'll put all of you into some random generated number generator, and whoever number it lands on, I will pick your unit and put it in the campaign. And I think that doing that works out, because one of you that do not have the possibility to pay, either because you're really young or otherwise, be able to get a membership unit. And also it will put a lot of comments, and so it would boost the first video of the series. Since I came up with this idea right now, it obviously is going to happen for the 10th video, so the boost might not be as, good. With that said, let's go over to the second one, which is going to need a little bit more explanation about why the campaign seemingly is easy, or I mean, comparatively what you might imagine for a campaign that is set in 1815, where, the French, or Napoleon really, is really on the back burner, because in the last stages here, for the 100 Days campaign, the Allies didn't declare war on France. They specifically all declared war on Napoleon, which is an important distinction, because you had England, Austria, Prussia, Russia, and all of these nations going into the alliance declaring war on one specific person, namely Napoleon. So you'd imagine in such an environment that, and especially also with the disasters in Russia and the continuous guerrilla warfare in Spain having drained France of its resources, Napoleon would be in a pretty difficult situation. And as we saw right at the start, everyone hates us. Everyone is at war with us. Well, almost everyone. So why have it seemingly been rather easy for me, as I immediately, have been able to secure myself against the royalists, the southern Netherlands. We were able to take Württemberg, and we were able to push Spain out of the war really quickly. Now, I think there's a number of things, but I think if we can summarize it, it is, as some of these I might already have gone over earlier in this campaign, but I want to put them all together. Firstly, I think it's because a lot of the different nations didn't have proper armies to start with. Like the southern Belgians, their armies were basically all militia, so it was not that hard to run them over. Württemberg was a little bit more difficult, but I think that Canister is way overpowered. As I've said in a different video, Like, I've never seen canister this effective. The range, which is huge, and then also the concentration of the shot, or like it's the perfect spread almost. It takes out so many. It's like you described canister as shotgun. Here it really is a shotgun blast. Like, I cut units in half with that, and with the range of it as well. I mean, you can't really not do well if you were able to level canister against your enemy. So I think that plays into it. And then something that I said earlier is all these smaller nations. Now, I think it because might be to open up the possibility of, if someone really wants to play as the Belgians in the 1815 campaign or something like that. But I think the campaign could probably use reduction of the amount of different, nations as playable options, just to open up avenue of attack for a lot of the larger nations. All these smaller nations fall so easily on their own, especially when we're talking about Germany. If you're Prussian and you need to move through here, for the AI, I can imagine it's quite hard to navigate this when there's all these small little nations in the way, and then all these small little nations. Some of them have been very active and aggressive, but a lot of them haven't. And we haven't really been able to gain the borders with many of them. So, we kind of defeat the enemy in detail. They're not able to level all of this against us at once. Instead, I'm able to take this guy out, and before I take him out, the guy behind him is not able to attack. So I can go one by one by one by one. And in terms of Spain, they started with way few troops. They had no garrisons in the northern provinces. And the little army that I had here just ran through quickly and got it all. And then through some maneuvering with my spy and watching the Spanish armies that did materialize, striking at the right opportunity, I was able to claim all of Spain and force them into surrender. So, yes, it has been easy, but I should say that it's really sad actually that that when I had to start over, when I realized the campaign had been broken because of my mistake in installing it, we actually did have like super amount of problems coming on. So let's rewind to episode 6, is it? Where I restart? I can't remember now. But as you remember, I just take Spain, and then I go, okay, so the next one I'm going to have to redo all of this, and, At the time that I took Spain there, and we took Spain, we realized, of course, we only had one army in Madrid, right? We saw then, there was a full stack here, there was a full stack in Portugal, so both of us would have come at Grouchy, I think it was, that took it, right? And Davao was forced here. At that time in the campaign, I still had revolts going on here by the Royalists, and by the Belgians, and by Württemberg. And at the same time there, I had moved Ney to attack and take Cleves, because at that point, the Prussians were still at war with me. And just at that turn, Mecklenburg and Hanover both presented full stacks here. The Dutch had 2 full stacks. The British had actually landed and attacked Normandy. And because the Prussians were going against me, the 3 full stacks we see here, 2 of them, I couldn't see the third, but 2 of them were marching down here with an Austrian coming up. So, in terms of it being easy, I was lucky with the AI being screwing up, especially with Prussia, going for peace. So stuff like that has made it easy. But I think, as I've said, as we get closer to the big empires, it's going to be a lot tougher. We're going to get a lot more stacks coming out against us. and it's going to be a lot more difficult. And with the update to correct the canister to not make it as deadly, that's going to change a lot. And, you know, stuff like that. So there will be changes to make it more difficult. And as we progress further, the enemy, the big empires, will fight me. Although I will be continuously saved by the fact that the Austrians have screwed up mightily by seemingly declare war on everyone else besides me. Or, like, they haven't fought me, they have fought the Bavarians, they've fought the Ottomans for a while, you know, they've taken the Balkans from the Ottomans, they're fighting the Prussians and so on. But eventually I think that the hatred for me, since I have like at least minus 1,000 with everyone, I think the hatred for me will probably get them to switch around and come at me. With that said, we're going to make another big brain move. So, you know, the hard thing would have been to crush these and then crush these, which would have allowed these guys to build up more troops. But the big brain move, which is going to make it easier for me, is to go directly here. So, you know, when you say easy, it's I mean, I'm going to have to take a little bit of credit for that I'm actually, you know, working the AI the way I am. Now, some of it might, you know, is exploitative or so on, or, you know, overusing of canister and all of that. But, you know, some of the fact that it's seems easy, I would have to take, since I've been playing Napoleon forever. So some of that I would want to take over. It's not just everything else, but, you know, as I've already explained, we're not going to go over that again. So, to recap, it is easy, but it's not also that easy. And remember, mark down what unit you want, and if you want a special aim for it. And you just might get it. And with that, the Dutch are about to get it. There is an opportunity for revenge by the 2nd Regiment of Grenadiers against the guards of the President. And with that said, let's head into battle, shall we? And the battle has started! Oh, the bloody artillery actually fired through here. I thought they were going to fire at the enemy artillery. Let's go ahead and make sure that they fire there and do not fire at our own troops. Starts off with a bang. Let's go ahead and take care of this situation before I go ahead and explain what's going on in terms of the location and situation of all my troops. As we can see right here, the 9th Light Cavalry, the Chasseurs Cheval Imperial, is fighting 2 Dutch squadrons of hussars. One has decided to leave. I moved up the Mamluks to aid, but clearly that was not needed. The Imperial troops were able to deal with the enemy hussars rather quickly. And as we can now see, the 2nd unit is moving away with its... Oh, it's coming back? Right. Hurry into position, and you might then be able to use your muskets, your carbines, to fire at them in the back as they're now trying to go for the 85th E. Kurt Falcom's own Grenadiers, which turned out to be a disaster. It could have been that they were trying to go around and go for the cannon. Unfortunately for the enemy in this battle, they are deployed halfway through a town, which is definitely going to make it a lot harder for them to fight. I don't think all the no, only like 1 or 2 cannons are firing here. Same perhaps with this one. Fire at will. Then. Right, so we've got sort of the normal units right here, the non-guard units, besides Izzy, which is back here, and the fact that we've got the flanker grenadiers of the old guard. I mean, the entire army is basically guard, except for the 85th Regiment, Jipilou for the 93rd, a regular Fusilier over there. And then I've got the old guard with Trillieux Chasseurs in front. We got the 2 heavy squadrons over here, with the 6th Lancers over here. Okay, so with the loss of all that, Hussar has not done anything really to the enemy. Unfortunately for me though, as much as they don't fire at me, I can't really fire at them from the current positions. So we're gonna advance. I'm gonna have the Guard Brigade come along here with the 2 heavy squadrons and the Lancers moving on the flank. And then what I'm thinking here for this brigade is... Sorry. I have this cough that won't go away. It's really annoying. I've had it since the start of December, basically. And it's kind of come and gone, and it won't really go away. It's really annoying. And now it's on the uptick again. So it's actually be quite noticeable. Quite annoying. Anyways, we got Tunai here on the hill, firing gun. I think that, I guess to demonstrate a point... For this battle, we're not going to use canister at all. Although I don't think I need it, because the enemy have set themselves up in such a bad position that their army is basically split by the town, and it's going to be hard for them to coordinate properly against their attack. They're also very passive. I guess maybe... if I would be able to destroy the cannons, maybe if I shoot down this house, it'll open an avenue for the Imperial Guard to fire on these guns, destroy them, and make the enemy a little bit more active. Of course, one of the ways in which, sort of, I've explained this so many times, if the AI has artillery advantage or you know, the same amount of guns as you, they will generally take a defensive posture. If they have less guns than you, then they usually go on the attack, because they realize that sitting under all that artillery fire is not going to do them any good. I'm not entirely sure why they haven't deployed them. Now, obviously, I know why they haven't deployed them, because their positions currently is absolute shit. But normally that does not stop the AI. I thought that fighting their hussars over on the side would have triggered them to go into the attack. What I think we'll do here is we'll take the 93rd and the 85th. We'll move them. It's too late because the Dutch are already now responding to this move. What I'll do is, where do we have the enemy? There's the president. Okay, so we'll have his unit stay on this side, but I kind of want one unit to head off when a flanking maneuver on that side. It's not really gonna work, is it? We'll do it like this, and then we'll have the cavalry do the flanking, so the guards and the Mamluks. Okay, so we're about to unleash the first volleys. Jipilou and Kurt, it's not great ground to be trading fire over with the walls, the built obstacles, the forest and so on. The losses on this is most likely from artillery. Have I broken down that house? No, not yet, but now the army is on the move. And now I can target one of their batteries, and will also increase with the barrage, and we will increase with barrage over here as well. The enemy hemmed in with the town. Should be quite easy to level good amount of fire into the units as they make their way through here. Okay, the president's unit is already on the way, heading straight towards Izzy. This time around, there's no one to aid the president's unit, but then again, at this point, Izzy's unit is a little bit on the small side. I'll bring the lights up towards the hill. We'll have 2 guards like that. And then 2 guards in reserve there. And the heavy squadrons and the lancers moving up on that side. Oh, Izzy is about to get the first shot off. Maybe I should actually set them behind the wall, because there's so few of them, to gain an advantage over the enemy. Right, the fire has been going on here for quite a while. Very few casualties on either side. We'll have the 93 and the 85th move on the attack. The Fusiliers and the flankers will go flush with the wall to produce maximum amount of fire on the enemy. Oh, they continue their march towards us. We'll turn the guns immediately to aid. I wouldn't want to have him lose his unit for a second time. Let's go ahead and see. You know what? I might actually move the cavalry to support over there instead. And then this unit will go ahead and strike from the back. Meanwhile, we got the fighting starting over here. I moved these guys so they could support Izzy a little bit, but it might be that they're firing at the grenadiers right now. The 2 guards holding off the enemy here, and hopefully we can get these guys into position to fight the enemy over here. You are bombarding the enemy's artillery. We have killed so far 0 of the enemy's guns. Alright, we'll have the Mamluks situated right there. They're really close here. We've got the squadron firing from the back. We're, at this point, we're really close on each other. And it should be a lot easier to do damage, but also open up for the charge here. Force them away. Izzy has lost no one yet. But then again, neither has the Grenadiers of the President. As the charge goes in, the troops will advance. We broke down the line infantry. Although at heavy losses here for the troops behind the wall, but we should have done pretty well for ourselves. Alright, the 2 infantry units will move into town and start to wheel up against this. And the cavalry will move back. These will actually kill cavalry. I didn't know that. So I have lost cavalry units needlessly. You are not firing, presumably because the house is in the way. But I figure you could fire maybe through there to break them down, or hit the grenadiers. Yes, we did. Wonderful. The fighting over here is stable. There's no problems here. They're going in for their heavier attack over on this side, and not really that much over here. I'm gonna move the 2 guards over here, and we do have the 2 squadrons of heavy cavalry and lancers coming in from this side, so that will be fine. I wonder here if they're actually hitting anyone. Let's move even further here, and the 2 units behind the walls here will close in and get ground closer to Izzy here, so they can actually aid in firing over here. We've broken the first light of the Dutch 12th Infantry Battalion, 1st Light Infantry, broken. The 2 heavy squadrons will now start off their attack on the Dutch, as they are moving straight into the light infantry. The light infantry will slightly reposition. Oh, they're going in for a major attack right at the old guard, just as I'm about to reinforce them with additional 2 battalions. Heavy cavalry strikes the line infantry back here, continues through and goes for the light infantry. The enemy's broken over here. The heavy cavalry will continue. The light troops actually drop the light formation and move into line along here. Here comes the Lancers to strike at the enemy. And as that is happening, we will order... Ooh, Nick Ceruto, that volley just crushed them all, together with the cavalry. Oh, you're all the way over here. They finally set the guns up, I think. It's a little bit too late. Right, order the old guard will advance. Go through there. Okay, at this point, I think Izzy is not even able to fire upon the enemy. Or on that guard unit. So he will move around and go for them from another angle. Oh, the enemy is back out here. What are they firing at? Firing at Jipiloo. Turn around. Oh, Izzy's now being shot at from the Grenadiers over here. Not great. You can sit behind the house. You can gain kind of an angle. Let's go ahead and take control of the cavalry and get those guys into positions. They're currently being held down by the light dragoons. I kind of want to get all my cavalry out of here. So if Nick Ceruto and the other Imperial Guard can destroy them, that would be nice. Trilogy Chasseur need to form square. Another thing I think, in terms of like how the game plays, one thing that is always kind of bullshit is the way how easy you can form square. Like you can immediately upon clicking the button, the bonuses of being in square are applied to the square, and you know it becomes virtually impossible to break it. Now it is changed within the mod to make it so that it's not as bullshit, but you know it's still always like difficult for or like it's bullshit how quickly it goes in. I feel like how it really should work is that the effects of the square wouldn't apply until the square is like fully actually formed, which would mean that you could click the form square, but there'd still be time before the actual bonuses that makes it hard to you know, break the square and so on, for them to apply, and the unit attacking, the cavalry unit attacking, could still have plenty of opportunity to break the regiment that is forming square. Kurt has lost a lot of men here. Fighting against the President's Guard. Which might not be that surprising, because I imagine they are a quite good unit. Now, what I'm thinking I'm going to do here is I'm going to get Izzy to come around and try and chase them, while I'm going to move these two up to take positions here. I feel like I would have broken one of these houses before any of this is happening. Right. Let's see. I am victorious at this point. There is not much left of the enemy army. We've got one grenadier unit over here, and the line infantry over here is about to fall. I'm gonna see if I can just get Izzy's unit around. If these guys are not gonna rally, they're retreating straight into. It's kind of funny how they basically have the same uniform. They do have the same uniform. It's the same unit basically. They're playing for the other team. With that said, you know, we're clearly victorious. And so I will declare this a victory. There's 3 units left. There's the grenadier right here, which is the only real difficult one. The line infantry over here is going to break any second down. And then the lights way out here, I mean, they have no chance on their own. So with that, I will declare this battle a victory for France. And here we have the final score. The enemy deployed 3,500 against our 3,300. We ended up losing 1,000. The enemy, of course, defending a town, so they lost everyone. I have 2,200 men remaining. In terms of friendly fire, it comes down to about 100 people, as I lost 1,059 while the enemy killed 960. In terms of highest kill, we've got an Imperial Guard unit doing the most, followed by the 5th Cuirassiers, Flanker Grenadiers, Chasseurs Cheval, the Imperial Guard, the Lances, another Guard unit, 1st Cuirassiers, 85th Regiment, that's Kurt. Then we got Izzy's Regiment, the 2nd Grenadiers, down here. Trillier Chasseur Guard, 93E, Jipilu, and so on, of course. Cannons having a hard time hitting anything, so we got the cannon, the 12-pounder down here at 38 kills, and some of those might have been awarded after the battle. But there we go. We managed to conquer that. To make sure now that we're not bogged down here, I'm just gonna go ahead and liberate the area. So we're gonna create a vassal, like I explained before, and so when we create a vassal, we actually gain troops here. We even gained a general! Konstantin Hoffman and Pupils de la Garde. Always 2 battalions formed of Royal Dutch velites, usually sons of fallen soldiers. In 1813 there were only 2 left out of the original 9 battalions. The others were gradually incorporated into the Young Guard as training regiments. It's like the Boy Scouts then for the old guard, but in this case just the Dutch. I should put maybe all the Dutch units. I have other Dutch units that I've been able to recruit through here. That we have. Let's see, which army did they end up in? We've got another Dutch unit I know of. Somewhere here. Oh, it might be actually be here. Or is it no? Which army is it? There is a... There! Veteran Guard of the Hollandaise Sauce. Dutch Grenadiers. So, small Dutch brigade. We could put... Yes, we could put them all together to form a Dutch brigade. In some sense, having 40 stacks armies would actually be rather nice because, you know, with the space you would be having these brigades where you can have like a secondary general commanding special brigades. Like you would have Ney's cavalry brigade maybe within Napoleon's army, which has got a lot of heavy cavalry or something like that. Anyways, with this taking this, it doesn't actually open up a border with the enemy, but we've got Mecklenburg full stag and we've got Hanoverian troops all over the place. So we will continue on after here, but right now it's keeping an eye in the coming episode. It's keeping an eye on this area, but most importantly, it'll be see if Grouchy is able to take out the British at Gibraltar. And then also Davout in his march on Portugal. Wait, where actually goes the line, the border with Portugal? So around here. Oh yeah, so it wouldn't be... I was thinking maybe the border was closer to here somewhere, so I could have just moved back to gain that little of resupply to get the army into full state. But good victory. And just again, for a third time, remind everyone, non-members, type out what unit you want, and if you want a special name, and we'll run it through a generator of some sort, and I'll pick a winner. And with all of that said, I will say, as I always say, hopefully you guys enjoy this, and hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye!